What if I told you that the things you do every single day are secretly chipping away at your intelligence? We tend to think IQ is fixed for life, assuming that you are born with a certain level of smarts, and that is it. But science tells a very different story. Right now, in this very moment, are you sharpening your mind, or are you accidentally dulling it? Most of us are unknowingly engaging in routine behaviors that act like a parking brake on our cognitive potential. Today, we are going to expose these hidden traps so you can stop sabotaging your own brain power. Welcome back to Psychology Algorithm. Today, we are diving deep into the hardware of your mind. We often talk about learning new things to get smarter, reading more books, or taking courses, but we rarely talk about the habits that are silently eroding the intelligence you already have. Research shows that our lifestyle choices don't just affect our waistlines or our energy levels. They physically alter the structure of our brains. This concept is known as negative neuroplasticity. Just as your brain can rewire itself to become sharper, it can also rewire itself to become slower and less efficient based on how you treat it. From the food you eat for breakfast to how you handle your smartphone notifications, you might be creating roadblocks for your own memory and problem-solving skills without even realizing it. In this video, we are breaking down 5 specific, scientifically backed habits that are silently lowering your cognitive function. These are subtle traps that most of us fall into daily. I have to ask, how many of these are you guilty of right now? Let's find out. Let's start with the most common offender in our modern life: chronic multitasking. We live in a world that praises the ability to do 3 things at once. You are replying to an email, listening to a podcast, and scrolling through social media all at the same time. You feel incredibly productive, right? But here is the harsh truth. The human brain is not designed to multitask. It is designed to monotask. When you think you are multitasking, you are actually just task switching very rapidly. Every time you switch your focus from your work to a notification on your phone, there is a switching cost. It drains glucose, which is the primary fuel your brain needs to function. Psychologists call this fragmented attention. Over time, you are essentially training your mind to be easily distracted and bored. It creates a state of continuous partial attention, where you are never fully engaged in anything you do. Studies from the University of London actually found that participants who multitasked during cognitive tasks experienced an IQ score drop similar to those who had stayed up all night or smoked marijuana. By constantly splitting your focus, you are teaching your brain to ignore depth and prefer shallowness. To fix this, we have to relearn the art of doing one thing at a time. Habit number 2 is a big one, and it is one we often sacrifice first: poor sleep hygiene. I know, you've heard, get more sleep 1,000 times. But here is the specific psychology and biology behind why lacking it makes us cognitively slower. It is about memory consolidation. During the day, your brain collects information, experiences, and skills. It's like having a messy desk full of papers. But it is only during deep REM sleep that your brain files those papers away, processing information and moving it from short-term storage to long-term memory. If you cut your sleep short, you are interrupting this file transfer process, meaning the things you learned yesterday might not be there today. Furthermore, there is a system in your brain called the glymphatic system. Think of it as the brain's waste clearance crew. It works primarily while you sleep to clear out neurotoxins, specifically beta-amyloid proteins, that build up between your brain cells during the day. If you don't sleep, that cleaning crew never comes on shift. This leads to that heavy sensation of brain fog, slower reaction times, and difficulty finding the right words. Chronic sleep deprivation essentially leaves your brain swimming in its own metabolic waste, which over time can cause significant cognitive decline. Now, let's talk about fuel. Habit number 3 is a diet high in sugar and processed foods. We often separate physical health from mental health, treating the brain as if it operates independently from the body. But here at Psychology Algorithm, we know they are the same thing. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's total energy. If you fuel it with junk, you get junk performance. Recent research has shown a strong link between high sugar consumption and neuroinflammation. When you spike your blood sugar constantly, it can lead to insulin resistance in the brain. Some researchers have even started referring to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes because of this link. In the short term, High-sugar diets lead to massive energy crashes that destroy your focus. If you are feeling sluggish or mentally slow in the afternoons, take a hard look at what you had for lunch. Additionally, the gut-brain axis plays a huge role here. A huge portion of your serotonin, the neurotransmitter that regulates mood and cognition, is produced in your gut. If your diet is poor, your gut health suffers, and consequently, your cognitive clarity takes a hit. Habit number 4 is living with chronic stress. Stress is a survival mechanism. In short bursts, it helps you react to danger by flooding your body with cortisol. But, in our modern world, we are often stressed all the time about bills, work deadlines, or social pressures. When cortisol levels remain high for too long, it literally becomes toxic to the brain. Specifically, it targets the hippocampus, which is a crucial structure for learning and memory. Studies have shown that chronic stress can actually shrink the hippocampus. It inhibits the growth of new neurons and breaks down the connections between existing ones. It forces your brain to stay in a primitive survival mode, prioritizing immediate reactions over deep, complex thinking. So, when you are constantly anxious, you aren't just unhappy. You are physically reducing your capacity to learn new things and retain information. You lose the ability to think critically because your brain is too busy looking for threats. Finally, habit number 5, a sedentary lifestyle. Your brain is a biological organ that needs oxygen and blood flow to function. When you sit for 8 or 10 hours a day, blood flow slows down throughout the body. Less oxygen gets to the brain, but more importantly, you miss out on the benefits of movement. Exercise releases a powerful protein called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain cells. It encourages the growth of new connections and protects existing ones. It is essential for neuroplasticity. If you aren't moving your body, you are starving your brain of the very compounds it needs to grow and repair itself. Research has shown that aerobic exercise can actually increase the size of the hippocampus, effectively reversing some of the age-related brain shrinkage we talked about earlier. You don't need to run a marathon. Even a brisk walk can increase blood flow and release these vital chemicals. There is a reason why so many great thinkers, from Steve Jobs to Beethoven, were avid walkers. Movement clears the mind. So, let's recap the 5 silent killers of cognitive potential. Fragmented attention from multitasking, poor sleep hygiene, a high-sugar diet, chronic stress, and a lack of physical movement. These habits might seem small on their own, but compounded over days, months, and years, they can drastically alter your brain's performance. The good news is that the brain is incredibly resilient. If you start changing these habits today, you can improve your focus, your memory, and your overall mental clarity. I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 habits is your biggest struggle right now? Is it the late-night scrolling that kills your sleep, the stress of work, or maybe the sugar cravings? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a breakdown from Psychology Algorithm. Take care of your mind, and I'll see you in the next video.